So this is their third motion to compel. And you may recall that we've talked a lot about them having trouble getting discovery, asking for things, not getting them. So when you are not getting the things that you think you're entitled to, you have to make a motion before the court. So this third motion to compel, and I didn't highlight it because I didn't have time, but let's just go to number 2. This is where she says they have not responded to defendant's third supplemental request for discovery. She says, she swears, Ann Taylor, the state filed a specific response to that request. After reviewing the materials provided, the following remains to be discovered. Request number A, request 3 profiles uploaded to a DNA database. The state has provided information related to this request for the seized item, the knife sheath only. The defense has requested all DNA profiles, including 3 additional unidentified male DNA profiles developed during the course of law enforcement investigation. This information has not been supplied. Tell me in the comments, do you think that that's a problem? Do you think that if they have 3 other male DNA profiles regarding this case that could point to 3 other people that were in the location in the house, that the profiles of those DNA results should be provided to the defense? If this was your son or your brother or your grandson who was on trial facing the death penalty, would this be something important that you think that they should provide? Okay, my bet they said they were not suspects. How do you know they're not suspects if the DNA wasn't tested? We're going to go on because we're going to see what the court says about this. And again, it's like I almost feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. So this is Judge. This is the hearing. And this is when Ann Taylor is saying to the judge, I didn't get these DNA profiles of these 3 unidentified males. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you can hear it, or if you can't hear it, I'll repeat what he says.
Testimony. Now, if you get too far into this is what the law requires. Okay.
Thank you.
So call your first witness.
Your Honor, I made one point of clarification. It occurred to me while listening to the court talking about genetic genealogy and really that being a focus. There are a couple of other areas contained in the motion to compel that have to do with the other DNA that the state doesn't have complete discoveries to us that are included in that third motion to compel that are up for today. The big focus has been the genetic genealogy piece, but I wanted to make sure that that was still
The closed captioning is so bad, and there's so many words that are incorrect, but you know, we're going to do the best we can. Can you guys hear it okay? Can you guys hear it okay? All right. I'm going to correct any closed captioning that you, because some of you, I'm sure, are just listening to this and not watching it. So if it's hard to hear, let me know. Yeah, Jakey, it does sound mumbled to me too. Well, Ann Taylor, first of all, is wearing a mask because she has strep throat. And so she is muffled anyway, but also the audio in the courtroom was absolutely terrible, horrifying. Not horrifying, but it was not listenable, let's say. All right, here we go. She's asking now, like, where are these 3 male DNA profiles? They have not turned them over. All they turned over to me was the DNA profile that was found in the knife sheath.
Well, my understanding was that the state did provide all the information about the laboratory, we'll say the laboratory DNA that analysis was not related to the genealogy DNA. Am I mistaken about that? What are you saying that they didn't provide to you?
Your Honor,
So already I have a problem with the judge because he doesn't even understand what she's asking for. And he's saying, Well, they're telling you that they already provided you with everything that the lab had. So I don't really understand what it is that you're looking for here.
Our third motion to compel, we had a section called standard.
So it says in our third motion, Mrs. Health. No, it's in our third motion to compel. We had a section called standard
Lab discovery, and that has to do with other DNA profiles found at the scene. They have provided full discovery for the sheep, the DNA found on the neck.
They have provided full discovery for the sheep. It says not the sheep, it's the sheath.
Sheet, but not
The DNA found on the night sheet. So on a night sheet, it's a knife sheath.
the other 3 unidentified male DNA samples, 2 from within the house, 1 from outside of the house.
Okay. So she's saying they did not turn over the profiles from the 3 male DNA samples, 2 from within the house and 1 from outside the house.
All right. So if I'm understanding your question there, or your assertion that we're talking about 3 potential analysis of DNA that was not provided to you, but that has no connection to Mr. Kober.
That has no connection to Mr. Kober. No, but could we agree that it may have a connection to this case? I don't know. Just a thought.
Okay, any response?
Okay. And this is where Bill Thompson's going to get a little annoyed, just a little annoyed.
We didn't realize this was going to be an issue today. We had given.
Your Honor, we didn't realize this was going to be an issue today, which is another way of saying I'm not prepared to argue this right now because we didn't realize it was going to be an issue today. But you should have realized it was going to be an issue today because it's like paragraph B of the motion that says you didn't turn this over. I don't understand. I don't understand why he doesn't understand that it was going to be discussed today, but let's hear what else he has to say.
Everything that we received from the lab. They'd asked for DNA workups on other people. To the extent that they don't have them, they weren't done.
They've asked for DNA workups on other people. To the extent that they don't have them, they weren't done. They weren't done. They did not profile the 3 male DNA samples that they had, 2 from inside the house, 1 from outside the house. How did they know they were male? How did they know that they're male samples if they didn't test them? Why wouldn't you test them? People say this was a house where people were in and out all the time. I would expect that they would find a lot more than 3. If they found 150, okay. Yeah, somebody says they didn't match the sheath. Okay, they didn't match the sheath. Does that still mean that they absolutely were not in the house during the course of these events? Are we absolutely positive that if he's guilty, because innocent until proven guilty, that he acted alone? Is there any excuse for not even testing them? I'm sorry, but I see reasonable doubt all over this. And you can disagree with me, and I'm sure that you will, and you can put it in the chat and, go ahead. My bet, I know that you're on the other side. I am not pro-prosecution and I am not pro-defense. I am pro-constitution. And when somebody's life is at stake, you better be turning over every rock and every stone, and you better find out and do the work. And I'm not saying that the law enforcement didn't do their job. Okay. They had him in custody in 7 weeks from the date of these horrific murders. And let's not forget that this case is about the victims, Kaylee, Zana, Ethan, and Madison. It is completely about them. But I'm concerned about a fair trial. So let's see what else Bill Thompson has to say about this.
We can't produce something that doesn't exist. We provide everything. There's one outstanding lab report that relates to the forensic examination by the lab personnel of the crime scene itself. Will be received today. That's the only outstanding lab report. Everything else, along with all the notes, is what there is, and it's been provided to the defense. They're hoping that there's something else there. It's not there.
They're hoping that there's something else there. It's not there. He's trying to make her look like an idiot for even requesting it. Really?
Well, Your Honor, it's part of our third motion to compel. It's still something that we don't have. We also don't have the unexpected.
She's saying it's still
corrective
something
actions
that we don't
unexpected
have.
results.
We don't have it. So why doesn't he respond to her discovery demand instead of giving some of the stuff and thinking maybe she's not going to notice that they didn't give her everything she asked for, putting it in writing that it doesn't exist. We did not test those samples. Put it in writing. Instead, he's getting up in court and saying, oh, we didn't know this was going to be an issue today. So I don't really know what to say, except for we can't give you something that we don't have. I'm in the twilight zone.